everyone, Sir Squiggles here, and welcome to Python programming with Sir Squiggles, because that's how we do a video intro around here, and if you don't like it, you can click off the video. Wait, please don't leave. Okay, you're back, you're here, you're good, we're okay, we're okay? Alright then, let's do this. So what we're gonna do is, I would like to start a video series of we're going to start a video series of me programming in Python and you telling me I'm doing it wrong. It sounds like fun to me, and I didn't write a script for this, so I don't know what I'm talking about or saying, but what we're going to do, I think, we might as well do, like, a simple game. And my brain has informed me that it has an idea. And that idea is a small game where you got your player. You got your player, and you have obviously there's the player in the environment. But instead of it being room-oriented or even map-oriented, it's just going to be based on encounters with nature and life and everything, and you just sort of like take a step, perhaps. Or you keep going, or whatever. There's a button you press and it's keep going, or take a step, or something, and then, it goes into the next. It does like a randomization thing and does an encounter, which would be kind of neat. I think it would be a lot easier than making a map-based game, because then I'd have to make a map and I'd have to figure out a movement system, and it would just be all sorts of annoying. So, I think we're gonna do something along those lines, and then you just sort of do your character and stuff, because that's how. Oh boy. Yeah, so that's the idea of everything that we're going to be doing here, and I guess what we need to do first is we need to create a class. Oh no, what we need to do first, priorities, we need to import random, because that's what we do here. Import random, random. Import random, and import pt1, which is, if you didn't already know, which is the Python's graphic. Okay, yeah, let me explain this. These are all comments. If you didn't already know, this imports the random module, which adds a mathematics-based randomization, pseudo-randomization, apparently. I don't know how to do that. I don't really know what that means, but it's mathed. It's random numbers, but with math. And then there's pt1, which is Python's graphics engine. It creates windows and applications and buttons and things. And for what we're doing, we don't really need anything all that complicated. And I have the basic idea, I think, of what the code's gonna end up looking like in the end of it all. But first, now we can do this. We're gonna do a class, and you don't capitalize things in Python as much as you do in some other languages. I have to remember that. Class player. And the player class, do I need to put self in there? It's so hard to remember. I don't think I do. Class player, and then the first function that's going to be in class player is define. I haven't programmed in a minute, so initialization, or initialized, or instantiate, instantation, or whatever, because I'm just saying a bunch of random words now, and I don't think I make any sense anymore. Self, And self is just telling the self oh boy. Okay, so what I did is I defined a function called initialize, and one of the I put a parameter in it, which is self, which is just this is just the class that this function is parented to or childed to, or however you language that. This function's in this class, and this is telling it to take the class that it's in and do stuff with it. Every function that we have inside of a class is going to have this self thing, because that just makes it so much easier to do anything. And, yeah. So, what we're going to first we're going to have to do, I guess, name. So self dot, and this is where it comes in, because this is the class, and one of the variables in the class, or maybe it's a method. I think, okay, functions in classes are methods. Functions outside of classes are functions. Variables inside of classes are something, and I don't really know the technical term for it, so I'm going to look it up right now. Okay, I think they're called, attributes. Yeah, I think it's an attribute. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I actually don't think there is a special word for it, and I was just overreacting. It doesn't really matter anyway. It's a variable in a class. It is a variable that can be referenced by the class, in the class, of the class, and is referenceable to all other parts of the class, which is what makes classes so much easier to deal with as far as programming goes, at least in Python. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to do a, yeah, name, and then that's it. I don't think we need to input anything else, unless we want to choose our class for some reason, and I don't really see why we would want to do that all that much. And, we could do some kind of, like, dynamic storyline that creates itself as the player plays the game, but that would be really complicated and annoying, so we're just going to do our very, very simple, very, very not complicated, very, very not in-depth at all idea, and finish that all the way through before complicating it and going on to the next thing. So, I think what we're going to do in this video, is we're going to start. We're just going to do a good basic start. We're going to make all the classes, and we're not going to flesh them out or anything. We're just going to make the bare bones of it, and as we go along, we'll tweak and deal with we'll tweak the classes, you know, we'll put them together and flesh them out, and, yeah. So, I'm going to capitalize this, just because why the hell not? Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that and capitalize this, because that way I have to capitalize less things, basically. This is going to be called a whole bunch of times in the program, well, probably not that many times, a few times in the program, and, self, and yeah, so self.equipment. I've actually done something like this before, but it was more text-based, and I think this time I'm going to actually create a graphics engine and like a button that you press, and it's going to be all kinds of fun. Self.equipment, empty list, and self.inventory is going to be blank as well. Actually, I don't think I even want to do that, because it's going to be too complex. It's just going to be too complex. So right now, all we need is inventory. I'm going to decapitalize that, and there is, we could, realistically speaking, we could make a save function where you just sort of like write down a bunch of numbers or something, and then bam, you've got a thing, but it's just, you know, it's just sort of not worth it. Okay, so I think what we could do, I think that's all we need. I think that's actually legitimately everything we need for our player. We just need our name and an inventory. There aren't going to be, like, characters or really even probably combat at all. So, maybe, like, okay, so, it's going to be the player, and then there's going to be the scene, I think. Okay, because this is going to be a lot less fun if all you do is press a button and read numbers, read words. You have to be able to do things. So, I think the scene should have either objects or creatures or entities, and probably both. And then, let me put an S on that. And then you can interact with those, which are all interactable. And, like, I don't know, like, it just gives you a random description of, oh, you were walking along, and then a snake came out of the bushes, and you can fight the snake, or you can just keep walking. And if you fight the snake, then stuff happens. So I guess we're going to add health. And the way that this works, the way the initialize works, or the init statement at the beginning of a class, is when you first instantiate the class, let's just go 20. 20 is default. You can take this class and say, okay, it's best to just show you. Daryl, even though it's not how you spell that name, probably, is equals player, and the player has a name of Daryl. Bam. That's all we need. That's it. That's it. That's all we need. And now we can run this. Yeah, I'm going to save it. And, okay, so now we're running the shell. And what is Daryl dot name? And see, these are all its attributes. Health, inventory, name, and the name is Daryl. So now we can do oh, it's probably two ERs. I don't know. Daryl dot health don't even have to. Minus equals 6. And now we can do Daryl dot health. And it's only 14. So, I mean, okay. Okay, this isn't a good example. I'm not explaining it well, but I think you can understand the principle behind it is it creates its own object that has its own stats, that does its own things, that you can easily manipulate using Python. So, that's all you needed to understand. You didn't even really need to understand that. I understood that. So you should be thankful that I'm willing to take the time out of my day to explain to you what something that I'm doing is in a video. Now that that's out of the way, we can get rid of these, because that's not important anymore. And I think I'm going to deal with death in the main thing, because what's the use of having health if you don't lose health, basically? I keep looking at the camera to like, you know, stare into your soul or something, but the camera's disabled, so. Now I need a class. Okay, so now here's the thing. This is where it gets a little complicated and confusing, because this is where we are going to deal with our, smack. Die. Dying, dead. Die, dead, deathed. Deathed. It's died. There was an ant. There was an ant. Don't worry about it. Okay. There was an ant. Now, this is where we're going to get into graphics and Tkinter, and I'm actually not... I don't remember how to do this, so... I think it's frame. I think all we need to do... where is starvation? Here we go. So, this is a game that I made myself, and it is called Starvation, and I'll show it off in another video, but right now I'm just looking at it for a reference. Because this is where I did a bunch of graphics on this, and I'm really proud of it. I'm actually really, really proud of it. So, after we're done with this video, I'm gonna record one showcasing Starvation. Okay, so, it is just frame, and I have to define it. I have to define initialize. Define initialize. And self, probably frame. Self and master. Equals none. And I could probably figure this out on my own, but I don't want to. Frame dot initialize. That's the wrong way. Self and master. And then this is where we instantiate stuff. So we're gonna do self dot player equals player. I was equally lazy that time. And player, I don't know, bleh, bleh. I actually don't need to do that, because what I can do is I can give it a default nothing, and then when we start the game, when I go into the world and it starts being a world and such, I can, it doesn't matter, we'll figure it out. Gods. Okay. When we initialize the game, it'll ask you a question, you can answer it, and it'll figure itself out from there. And I can replace this variable. I can replace name at any time throughout the whole thing, and it's amazing, and I love Python so much for stuff like that. And let's see. That's all I have. That's all I need right now. I might want to do world. No, because I don't need world. I don't need a world. I might want, like, a list. So, self dot, scenes. Scenes equals a list of scenes, which can be their own things. They could be their own. I could have, like, a whole class of scenes, where it's just, like, a bunch of different scenes. Or, like, a whole class that is scene, and then it has, like, its own stats and stuff. And really, that's the beauty of Python, and that's the beauty of programming in general, because I can come back and change any of this and add new things, and it's going to be ridiculously difficult and annoying and tedious and yada 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 yada, but it's great, and I get to create things, and you get to watch me. So, yeah. We have our app, and we are going to... I'm going to do this because define GUI, and it just needs self, and everything else pretty much is just going to need self unless it specifically needs another variable input, or another parameter, I mean. And this is where we do all of our... Oh, I do need turtle. I need to import turtle, too. Import turtle. Okay, so, I am just using starvation as a reference, and that is just, yeah, that's because I don't have all of this stuff, like, in my brain all the time, so, you know, don't judge me. I need references. Everybody does. Background is canvas, which we're going to need for our background image, which is probably just going to end up being like a meadow or something lame like that. I might even have it change according to biome or something. Or like the scene has its own background image. I like that. Every scene gets its own background image. Or maybe not. I don't know. We could do whatever we want. It's our game. Also, this isn't really a how-to. This is not supposed to be a tutorial. This is not supposed to be like, this is how you get started making stuff. No, this is just you watching me make a game and me complaining about it, basically. So just don't, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna explain stuff, obviously. Like, what I'm doing right now, I haven't explained any of it. Seed. But I'm not good at explaining things, so that's why this isn't a tutorial. You should go find a professional. There are several, I'm sure there's gotta be some people out there that have got tutorials on Python and stuff, and I mean, Python, Python itself has its own docs, and it's just, you know, just don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. Okay. Screen? Yeah, okay, so... Well, I will explain what I am doing right now. What all this is just the beginning of everything. And this is actually probably going to be pretty much what it looks like. This is going to be about what our function is going to, our method is going to look like, because the buttons are pretty much the same. What this just defines a canvas, and what this does, it defines a turtle screen on that canvas, and what that means is it defines a place where turtles, which are these little triangles that poop lines, it's the best explanation I can give you, they go around and they draw, then you tell them to, like, turn left and right, and you code it out, obviously. You're not like, hey, you, turtle number 37, turn right now. 30 degrees. Because, I mean, you do say that, but in programming, in the computer. And we're going to use turtles to display our text. And the buttons are buttons, and the turtle is a turtle. So that should be a terrible explanation for that. I'm gonna do turtle screen, and then self.bg, and that is referencing this, which we just created. Self.sc, and this is, the rest of this is just going to be, the rest of it is just configuration. The rest of the stuff dealing with the turtle screen is just configuration, because we want it to be how we want it to be. Basically, we're configuring the screen, and we can change all these variables later. Yeah, bg pick, and we're getting pretty close to the end of what we're doing here. This doesn't matter right now. We could deal with it later. I'm actually gonna comment it out. And what that means is I'm going to do that. Bam, done, dealt with. It isn't gonna get read as something that happened or is going to happen or any of that. So self.step, probably. Self.step. equals button, self text text equals gods. What am I even doing? What are buttons? Start, command equals self dot start. Now I have to make a command that's called self dot start because that's the command that the button is going to do. Now we do self dot step dot pack. Actually, I don't even need to do a function called that. I can change this. I can change it to step because I should probably capitalize that. That way it doesn't get confused and try to call on itself, because I know Python is so customizable that it's so easy for it to get confused about what you want it to do. And we're actually gonna do this at the bottom, so that it's at the middle on the bottom, and like that. And it would be cool to interact with stuff, but I'm not entirely... I mean, I know how to do it. I know how to do that, and I have to make, like, an entry thing, and it's all kinds of complicated. Ho, Xander! That's a word people say, right? Yes. Oh, shut up, Franklin. Alright, well, that happened. Yeah, pretty much we just need to define the announcer, or the words announcer equals turtle dot raw turtle. Don't ever eat a raw turtle. It'll probably kill you. Self dot sc self dot announcer. I mean, if you eat a turtle, it'll kill you, but if you eat a raw one, you'll probably already be dead. Oh, I need to do a dot. I'm not sure if I have to do that, but I'm gonna go to 0, -55, because I had the turtle set up so that I had the turtle set up in starvation so that it would go to a place, go to like the middle of the screen, as the announcer. Self dot announcer. And the only reason why I'm getting away with making this name so long is because I'm only going to be using it a few times, and it's just, you know, it's just easier. Hide turtle and self dot announcer dot pen up, and I think that's gonna do it for now, because I've got stuff I need to deal with, and we've pretty much made everything that we need to make. What I'm gonna do, actually, is I'm going to go all the way down here, because this took a freaking forever and a half to make all this code. I remember making this game. Fun stuff. We're gonna make this little function here, and this little function here. Is a no. And a no, self, I didn't mean to do that. Text equals null. And that way I don't get any errors for some reason. If, oh, I don't need to do that. I don't need to put that top thing, but basically self dot announcer dot clear and self dot announcer dot Why do I have to go to 0, negative? What? Okay. A little weird. I'm not entirely sure why that is there. Maybe it's the wrong placement or something, but I might change that. I might change that later. I'll figure it out. Announcer dot write, and this is where all of the words come in. And we're just gonna use no to print out descriptions and stuff of things and whatnot. Because that's it. That's all we need. That's literally, like, we're pretty much almost done now. Aside from items and entities and interaction with them, yeah. Okay. So. Self.announcer.write. Yes, okay. Text. False. False. Center. And then we need to, that's not how you numbers. We need to put in here. Courier. 11. Normal. And now, I can actually just do, no. Step doesn't exist yet, but I can save and run. It might not work. There's a pretty good, because it won't actually run or activate. That's right. I forgot. Do I have to, import everything from? Yeah. Okay. Import everything. But the reason why we're not going to see what we made right now is because it's going to take too long. I'm done. I'm tired. My voice is starting to hurt. But we got stuff. We got something in. We have the idea of the game. I'm going to work on it in my free time. Like, I'm going to work on the idea. And, until next time, I guess. I'm going to end the video here. You will see me in the next one. And remember, don't be default.